Do you remember what happened in the year 2022? I know it was a while ago, but if you're like me, you remember the most notable thing to happen that year. You think about it every single day of your life. That's right. I'm talking about Catalinbread releasing the FX40 Soft Focus Reverb. I remember it incredibly vividly because this pedal became pretty much the only permanent pedal on a board that I had put together for this like post-punk, dark wavy sort of band that I had been playing with. We never got around to gigging. We talked about it on the podcast a lot, but we played for like a solid year together, trying to get going. And this reverb was an always on for me. I was always using this thing. I was bending over to turn it up and mess with the settings and find all sorts of different vibes with it and whatnot. It was a workhorse for me. Well, good news. If you're like me and you have a great time messing around with this pedal and other pedals that do similar sorts of sounds, Catalinbread sent me their deluxe version to check out. That means I'm gonna have two pedals that sound like this, which means I'm probably gonna run them in stereo at some point in this video. It's just bound to happen, right? So anyways, let's crack it open and see what we got here. Well, look who decided to show. It's the Soft Focus twins, here to do some shoegazing together. All right, so what's different? We've got an extra foot switch. We have got a distortion level. There's a built-in distortion. There is a program selecting knob. Interesting. But then we've got mix, mod, verb, and then a delay. We've got a delay knob and a time knob. There's no synth level. Interesting. I'm gonna read the manual real quick to figure out what's going on here. Then I'm gonna plug it all in and see what it sounds like. There's a lot going on here, guys. I'm gonna have to do a speed run because there's like a whole chart here of all the different things that the different knobs do across the range of the program knob here. They really expanded this concept. This is wild. All right, let's get into it. Really quickly, I need to tell you which guitar I'm using. I'm using the Fender American Vintage 2 Jazzmaster, loaded with a pickup from our friend Mel over there at Alameda Guitars. This is his off-kiltertron pickup, which gives me a selection of 3 different single coil and 3 different humbucker tones. And of course, I'm running into the 2 Princeton's rig. Quickly, come on. Yeah, faster, faster, faster. We're running out of time. Okay, here is my dry signal. Oops, got to turn off the tuner. Here we go. Should I just turn the whole thing on or start with bypass and then get to the distortion? Well, everything's turned down, so that's not gonna work. You know, the way that I use the original Soft Focus is I legitimately just turn everything up. You can even see the setting that I have here. The mix is all the way up. The synth and mod are all the way up. And I have the verb turned much further down than I normally do. What was I doing last time I played with it? I'm hearing the Soft Focus that I know and love, but I'm also hearing a delay bouncing in there. Because there's a delay and a control for the time. I love that. The Soft Focus is such a spooky pedal. It always puts me in this dark but beautiful kind of mood, you know? All right, let's start isolating some of these sounds that are in here, just so you can be familiar with what's going on. So there's the dry. Here it is with the modulation all the way up and the mix all the way up, just so you can hear exactly what that modulation is. So according to the sheet here, the modulation across various different settings here actually controls the modulation depth and that symphonic mix that is missing from the original here. So this is the standard soft focus setting on the #1 position. And so the mod controls the modulation depth and symphonic mix. So you're getting both, which kind of makes sense considering I always ran this one with both those knobs wide open all the way up. So what we're hearing there is some sort of chorusing and this pitchy symphonic sort of situation going on. Pull that back and we'll just do the reverb now. That's kind of an interesting sound with the mix all the way up and the smallest reverb setting. But we might as well max it and work our way back. And now, new territory, the delay. I'm assuming delay is the mix. On this setting, it governs both the feedback and delay mix. Interesting. Let's pull back the main mix a bit, just so it's a little bit more normal. I kind of wish the repeats went up when turning down the time knob to get more of a cascading bounce with those shorter times. Oh, that's a fun, spooky sound right there. But yeah, I'd like to have more repeats in general across the lower times for sure. There's plenty on the longer time. All right, let's start mixing it all together and then we'll explore that new distortion thing. And also there is a parallel series switch, which I'm assuming works with the distortion and the reverb delay mix here. Everything all the way up just sounds good on the soft focus pedals, not just this one. but both of them, that's where I like to live. You get that really fun, like reverse reverb, completely wet mix with everything all the way up. That's beautiful. I love that. Instant ambient. Okay, I'm gonna pull it back to be a little bit more reasonable, a little bit more responsible. Let's check out that distortion, and then after that, I'm gonna run through all the programs and explore as much of this chart, it won't stay up, as possible. Here we go. What's it gonna do? The distortion level's all the way down, so I shouldn't be surprised if I can't hear it. Interesting. Interesting. I haven't fully processed what I'm experiencing yet, but it seems like a bright, like staticky kind of distortion. Let's see if we can hear it without the bypass on. Will it just be a distortion box? Yeah. Oh, that's different, isn't it? I'm on the humbucker setting right now. There is a higher gain output humbucker setting all the way up here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's a really interesting distortion sound. And by interesting, I mean unusual. It's very different, isn't it? Tell me, shoegazers out there, is there something to that sound that means something? I'm excited for it. I love like bright and crispy, loose grit, like broken sorts of sounds. So I'm excited that this thing sounds different. I didn't know what to expect. I was expecting maybe like just a full-blown rat distortion or something like that, or like a take on a DS1. I don't know. I wasn't expecting this like primitive, broken, thin sort of distortion that I imagine works very well with the rest of the pedal. It's so interesting for me. It sounds like the distortion is in the full mix with the reverb, buried somewhere in that signal path, and it's being balanced against the clean signal of the guitar. And here it is without the distortion. Here it is with. So I think the part where my mind is having to do some gymnastics is usually when you see a double-sided pedal and one side is a distortion, you're expecting it to act like two pedals. No, that's not what I think is going on here. The distortion is another thing within the mix of what's going on with this over-the-top reverb and modulation sort of situation with the soft focus sound. And that might all change the moment I flick this switch. Yeah, the distortion introduces this grit, this static into that reverb. Am I shoegazing? I'm trying to shoegaze a little bit. Playing some like sloppy, slightly dissonant chords with like, kind of like a cool avant-garde mood. Series, and then I'll finally start getting into the mode dial. Here we go. One strum with series first. And now with parallel. What's this gonna do? There it is. All right, all right. So obviously, in the parallel setting, that distortion is separated from the reverb. It is running side by side with the reverb and the modulation and all that. So you get more of that grid. It's just so interesting to me that you get so much of your clean sound in that mix in the series mode. It must really bury that distortion into that reverb path. What a unique sort of sound. Now I can really hear that distortion too. Is it different with the reverb off? Yeah. Oh, totally. I should have started in parallel mode. That was the problem. There's a distortion. Start scrolling through this thing. So we've been on standard soft focus. And the next program is long reverb tails because this isn't long enough. Jeez. This program takes the standard reverb algorithm and increases the decay time to near infinite, dramatically increasing the amount of ambiance on tap. All right, here we go. Kidding about the infinite part. Like, it was just gonna hold that sound forever. There's something so cinematic about the soft focus. The next setting, well, should I look at what the different controls do? Okay, in the number 2 setting, the Reverb knob controls the reverb trail length up to as close to infinite as humanly possible, which we already learned. And that's the only thing that's different on that setting. And the number 3 setting is deep modulation warble. Adds an additional voice to the modulation section and expands its capabilities, extending into pitch bending territory at higher settings. And the mod knob controls the intensity of the added modulation voice and symphonic mix. And the Reverb controls the reverb trail length near the decay time of okay, so it's the same thing as program 1 for the rest of the settings for Reverb, and then nothing else new. So we'll mess with the modulation knob. Oh yeah. People who want that extra, like, pitch bending chorus sort of sound there. The number 4 setting on the program dial, Shimmer Soft Focus. A shimmer. Here we go. Compared to the standard soft focus, all parameters have been juiced in this program. From the reverb decay to the modulation, a shimmer has been added. I like a shimmer reverb. Do any other guitar channels do that? Just kind of lose control and lean into their sloppiness and just kind of wipe the slate clean as far as anyone's opinion of their playing goes. I like it. I like what they've added to the soft focus. It's more of what I love. Number 5. Number 5 on the program dial. Pitch delay with strong shimmer. Focusing on the pitch shifting elements of the soft focus patch, this mode adds an octave up to the delay repeats. Oh man, it just keeps getting funner and funner. Let's pull all this modulation and reverb out. I just want to hear the delay. The whole thing really leans into the lineage of what it's supposed to represent, a digital rack delay reverb unit from Yamaha. It was from Yamaha, right? I have the little sister to it, the little brother, the sibling of it. I keep meaning to do a demo of this. I found it in a box on the curb. Someone was just getting rid of it. It is a Yamaha R100 reverb processor. I forget what the actual unit that these are trying to emulate was named, but this is the smaller version of that. And I've tried to find sounds that are similar to this in it, but I don't think it has the exact same setting as that other unit. I'll put up a screen grab of the top here, and you guys can tell me if it's got it or not. I'll do a demo of this eventually. Stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel to see that someday. I promise. Fingers crossed. But what I was trying to get to is it has that kind of like vintage digital, gritty, low bit rate sort of sound to it, while also being expansive and huge. Start mixing some stuff back in. I don't even have the reverb back in the mix yet. John Carpenter vibes. That's what I get from this thing every single time. When I say every single time, I'm talking about the original. And then this as well. Like they really expanded it. I'm excited. I wish I was still in a band where I could use it. Okay, so for the mod control in this setting, modulation and shimmer are both attached to this control at varying intensities. In program 5, the mod is more subtle than its shimmer counterpart. All right, so there's more shimmer than mod on number 5. On to the last setting, number 6, expression pedal input control. I've got to get an expression pedal out. Now, if I put this on the floor to use it, I'm not gonna show you. I'm not gonna film it because even though this is a shoegaze pedal, I'm actually wearing sandals right now. And I know there's a large percentage of the audience that doesn't want to see that, and a smaller percentage of the audience that would weirdly pay to see that. And I don't really want to bug the larger portion there, and I don't want to satisfy the other portion. You have to pay for that. Not for free. Not on this channel, okay? So anyways, what's going on here? The standard soft focus patch returns with expression tied to the input volume for lush swells. I wore the right shirt today. It is swell with my soul. Unlike other modes where the expression jack controls delay time, I didn't know the other modes had that. I'll have to backtrack a little bit. Time and delay mix controls are swapped here. Okay, so this controls the delay mix. And then the modulation controls the modulation depth and symphonic mix. So same as the number 1 and 2 settings. In this mode, time functions as an input control. Let's just try it. Let's see what happens. Let's do it in series. There it is. You understand what's going on now, right? It's not going to be a mystery if you don't get a shot of my toes. That's very cool. I like that. That's a nice expression feature. All right, now I want to backtrack and see what the heck this thing was talking about using the expression to rack the time knob. Pull out the mod and the reverb. Does the time need to be all the way up or anything? Oh, I like that. Verb in there. You know what, let's max it out. Why not? We're here, right? I think my expression dying on me. It's getting a little glitchy. I probably just need to get some contact cleaner in there. It might just be the cable, honestly. Ah, yes. Human music. I like it. Oh, I'm stoked. I still gotta do the thing I promised at the beginning of the video. I gotta do stereo. I gotta run them both. Deluxe on one side, going into one Princeton, and the OG going into the other Princeton. All right, I got the signal split with my Earthquaker Devices ABY box here. I'll have a link to that in the description. And now we've got, let's figure it out. Okay, so the Deluxe is running into the blonde Princeton, and that means that the original is running into the black Princeton. Let's crank it up. And we'll turn off the distortion for now. And now we'll do both. Stereo soft focus time, guys. An FX80, or is it an FX 4040? I don't know. And of course, I've still got the expression connected to the delay. Let's do the shimmer setting. What do you guys think? I love it. I already loved it. Now I have a new way to love it. An expanded way to love it. It's making me wonder if I should keep the original. Should I put it onto the market? Or should I just stow it away somewhere in case I need a big ambient shoegazy board and a little ambient shoegazy board, and this can be on the big one and this can be on the little one? I don't know. I don't even have one ambient shoegazy board together right now. I'm daydreaming of two. What would you do? Which one would you keep if you had both of these? Would you keep them both? Let me know down in the comment section. So huge thanks to Catalinbread for sending this out. Like I've said, I'm a big fan of the original. I'm a big fan of the new one. They added so much in there and it all works. Like it really just expanded the concept in some really fun ways. The different programs are great. Like the extra shimmer, the extra modulation, the expression controls are fun. Racking the time control to get those spaceship sounds that you know I love. Like that's me. I love that stuff. That distortion is so unique. I was expecting like a full-blown rat or something like that. It's not that. It's not even like a big muff or anything like that. It is bright, it's crispy, it's grainy and staticky. And if it was a standalone distortion, people would be like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Maybe even right now, people are saying that. But in the context of everything else going on here, that bright static complements the rest of it so nicely. And I'm sure it's trying to be something very specific to the shoegaze community, maybe even trying to emulate, you know, a digital distortion that you'd find in a Yamaha rack unit. But I just think it's great. I'm stoked on that. It feels like the sort of thing that you could use alongside all your other dirt pedals. You throw a fuzz in front of this and you're just adding static and grit into the reverb mix on top of what you're doing, mixing in between with whatever you're hitting this with your mix control and whatnot. Good work. Good work, Catalinbread. It feels really well thought out. It feels like it's really, truly honoring the original that you made here and just giving everyone more of what they like, at least what I like about it, and throwing some stuff in there that I wasn't expecting. So anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me rude, nasty comments, support us on Patreon, buy a shirt if you're naked, and stay grounded. Bye, everybody.